Hello everyone. Welcome to a new game until I can find I forgot to grind until I found Aaron and what's her name? What's her name? Aaron and Nightmare for date everything. So until I can find them, I can't continue that gameplay, which is my fault, TBH. So until then, we're going back to looking at other dating sims. This is not a dating sim, it's just a romance story. Yay! It's set in like the Wild West vibe, cowboy energy, kind of, I think, is what it said. And it just looked really cute. I really liked the art style. Looks like it has good story vibes. It's called Lookouts. So, and also I apologize in advance. If I sound boo boo stank, it's because my throat is low key kind of sore, and I either haven't drank enough water today, or I'm sick. And yeah, so let's just hop into it. If I pause, no, I'm dying on the other side of this microphone, but it's muted. Hey. So, you're sure we can trust this friend of yours, his info? It'll be a crying shame if you're wrong about this. This guy's someone to ride the river with. He'd never sell me bunk information. That town has struck gold, that's what he heard. Heard? He just heard about it? What kind of source is that? We can't go off of rumors in that case. But think about it. We'll be living like English kings if we take over a supply like that. What else are we gonna do? The last job was a bust. We got nothing left. Alright. We've had some bad luck and we're running low on supplies. We'll take that town by hook or by crook, and if they don't have that gold, we'll take them for what they do have and skedaddle. The lookout will go early in the morning and see what we're up against, but I reckon we can bulldoze this burg and have some fun either way. Make sure to bring back some juicy details, won't you, tomboy? He firmly slaps you on the back. Laughter fills the camp around the roaring fire. Sounds like you'll be riding at sunup to check the town out. You feel it's best to get some sleep. Let's go! Little cowboy yeehaw! Let's go! Oh, it's desert, right. The desert is an orange haze. Scorched sands whip up around you, and your horse's legs. The sun's hot against your back as you ride towards the town. You find a cutie little art style. There's not much to be done while riding. The desert is lonely, harsh, bare. Only thing to do is think. You don't like being alone with your thoughts so often, for so long. But you always are alone as the lookout. Alone being the odd stick of the gang. No one talks to you unless they need something. You daydream as you ride, like usual. Flights of fancy of settling down somewhere. You're tied to Curly Wolf and his gang, though. Is it so much to ask to be able to live in peace? To not have to fight for survival, always on the run? Maybe that's what your life will always be like, gang or not. A hunted outcast. They could have sent you off with some playing cards at the very least. Alright, I get it. We an outlier. I like it, I like the vibes. His little paw, he's so cute. You come to an outcropping near a cliff. Tying up your horse, you approach the edge and see the town come into view. A nice frontier town, small but clearly bustling with people. White painted signs on the wood buildings glint and bloom in the midday sun. You can't see much else from way up here, and turn to go get your binoculars. You open your saddlebag and pull the metal binoculars out, brushing it against your poncho to dust off the lenses. Turning back to the turning back to walk to the edge, a figure suddenly rounds the corner of the large rock you've decided to set up camp under. Ah! Go! Out of instinct, your hand snaps to your holstered gun and pulls it, trained squarely at the head of this new person. The bird, who seemingly came from nowhere, looks at you, clearly just as surprised and out of sorts from your own presence. He shifts backwards, eyeing your hand on your gun. The air feels very still all of a sudden, and given you have the upper hand, you take a moment to look at who just crossed your path. He's definitely an outlaw, like yourself. A rugged beak shining in the sun centers a face that you admittedly find charming. Look at him, he's so little and cute. Can you back up? His face and arms are marked with scars, and a large sawn-off shotgun hangs in his holster. Since he's a bird, you know to be wary. Just like he'll know to be wary of a... Oh my god. Oh my god. Bonnibel, chill, man. She just ripped through here like a crazy person. Wary of a candid like yourself. Howdy there. What's your name, partner? Joseph. And what are you doing all the way out here, Joseph? You seem a dreadfully long way from where one might think you should be. You could ask the same question. Probably I could ask you the same question. I think I read that wrong. You stare at him dead in the eye. He's pretty calm for someone having a gun pointed at his head, but you can see some of his feathers quivering. Were you trying to sneak up on me, Joseph? Rob me blind where no one else can see? I bet you thought a fella missing an arm would be easy. Oh, I didn't even notice he was missing an arm. No, sir. I had no idea you were here till, I walked around this rock here. He pats the roadstone beside himself, as if to make a point. Sir, what in the Sam Hill? You lower your gun like your shoulder joint just gave out, and let it hang there. In all my years, no stranger's ever called me sir. Well, color me surprised, fella. You'd have to be blind or full as a tick to not see an upstanding young gentleman. All right. Now you're just licking my boots. I'm putting on my southern accent. It's giving yeehaw. The hawk puts a hand to his chest. God as my witness, I ain't lying to you. You holster your gun and snort a small laugh. May he strike you down as penance then. What are you doing out here? Picking flowers? The smile drops from his face. He stops short and swallows, like he can't bear to say the next words. I'm part of the Black Vulture gang. I'm on lookout here to survey this here burg. Sorry, I'm dying. That's very forward of you, considering I just had a gun pointed your way. I'm part of the Curly Wolf gang. I'll be damned. You boys have been all over the West. What brings you right here? Much the same as you, I would imagine. Rumors of gold. You'd have it just right. This is so cutie and yeehaw. Yeehaw! Well, I can imagine that my boss might want me to do, coming across someone who's sticking their beak in our business. Joseph tenses up, feathers ruffled. He understands full and well what you mean, conflicting interests and all. But he's not here. Would be a real waste of a good bullet to use it on you. Is that an insult, or are you trying to make a mash on me? The small jibe is enough to make you stop talking and search for the binoculars you threw when you pulled your gun, turning your face away to hide the blood rushing to your cheeks under your dark fur. You dust the binoculars off again and walk over to where Joseph is standing, his eyes keenly trained on the town. Don't need no binoculars then, huh? No, sir, just these eyes can see all the faces of those people down there, no problem. Sir, again. Maybe it's just a small habit of his to call people that. Say, why do you keep calling me sir? I ain't your boss. You just that much of a polite suck-up? Costs nothing to be kind on the trail, I found. What do most call you then? Ah, you thought this might come up, of course. You're surprised it took this long for him to ask about who you were, what you are. Most would say tomboy, I would think, or the other things I wouldn't repeat in such polite company. And what would you call yourself? The question takes you by surprise, something else no one's ever asked you. I'd call myself a man. Huh, isn't that so? He's gonna think that you're a nut now. You just know it. You'd better get You'd be better getting on your horse right now and riding back than staying another second around this stranger. How funny. Guess we're in the same boat if I'm picking up what you're putting down. Might say that the guys at the camp don't use shove the queer to talk about money. I don't even know what that means to refer to money. Be respect the gays. Be nice to the gays. You nod at him, unsure whether to laugh or not. Neither of you seem sure what to say now. Instead, you hold the binoculars to the bridge of your nose and investigate the town, looking down into the valley. After a spell of looking at nothing in particular, in silence, you take the binoculars away from your face again, readjusting the late morning light. You glance at Joseph's keenly trained eyes, then back to the town. You can't help but stare at the clump of a dozen or so buildings. You couldn't help but think about the real people's lives going on down there every day. Deaths and celebrations, harvests and prayers. How you were gonna hurt them. You were both gonna hurt them. Don't get it. Joseph's voice snaps you out of your staring. Why would a black vulture want to come here? There's nothing here. No mines in use, no bank. And they sure as hell ain't rich by the look of things. Maybe they struck a new vein. This is a miner town after all. But you're right. Something strange is going on. Well, 2 sets of eyes are better than 1, right? You want to work together? You watch my back, I'll watch yours. Deal? A huge feathered hand shoots out at you in expectation. You look at his face, and you both lock eyes for a moment. You're not sure what, but there's something in his eyes that make you feel seen. Being looked at rather than looked through. They're so cute. Wah! Look at them. They're so cutie. You gently grab his hand, and a second winged hand clasps on and gives your whole arm a big shake. Oh, careful there. Don't need to lose another. He lets go and puts his hand on his hip, smiling at you. Hey, come on now. Let's get on down there. He walks past you and heads towards a winding, rocky path down the side of the valley cliff. You take a moment to look at the town again, walking along the cliff's edge to catch up with Joseph. Wondering if he could see how red your face had been under your black fur. I'm doing a little dance with the song. Clambering down the cliff face, the shade of the valley is a welcoming change after your long ride in the sun. The climb down is quiet, only a few grunts and gripes, a couple of voices of concern from Joseph you quickly waved off. You both approach a wooden sign you spotted a little ways off, swaying in the desert wind. It looked relatively new, a board hanging on 2 chains, a word carved into the wood. Can you read it? It was only a single word, but you couldn't piece together quite how to say it. No. Well, I'm sure someone will tell us. You notice some familiar smells drift on the wind as a gust blows through the town past you. Tobacco smoke, whiskey, stewing meat from someplace. It reminded you of the camp. Little cow. Walking more into the town, you get a better look at the buildings that were just dots up on the cliff. There was a saloon at least, seemingly one of the older buildings in town, as well as what you guessed was a sheriff's building, although the sign outside looks to be busted up. Everything else you could see from here seemed to be houses and whatnot. Leftovers clearly made by miners, not built to be sturdy or last long, but had been fixed up to be livable for folks. Clearly the people here like this place, and if they get a whiff of why you're both here. Alright, partner, I'd say if we get given any evil eyes, we hightail it out of here. Ain't worth getting shot in a place like this. Sure thing. We got each other's backs, remember? You nod at him. We'd be best to get talking to people. Daylight's burning. Oh, here comes someone now. Sure enough, you see a short figure approaching you from the sheriff's office. You hear the pound of a cane on the dirt as they limp towards you with a vigor in their step. When they get close and the haze of the desert heat obscures them less, you see a smartly dressed old lizard standing before both of you. I would never have guessed that was a lizard. Sorry. Cane in one hand and a metal flask in the other. Guess that's true. Howdy, fellows. I'm the sheriff. Welcome to Clemency? Question mark? A pleasure to meet you, Sheriff. He gave the lizard an expectant look, waiting for a name. My name is Sheriff. Just Sheriff, that's all you need. What do you call yourselves? My name's Joseph, and my associate here is... He gestured towards you and turned to look at you, a subtle panic running across his eyes. You realize that he just realized you never gave your name. What is your name? Hey, I guess Robin is the name that we're supposed to give. Kay. I'm Kay. Pleasure to meet you. He said this while looking at Joseph, resisting the urge to wink at him before looking back to the sheriff. So what brings you two to our fine town? We're just riding through. Needed a rest stop. There a problem with that? Joseph nudges you with his elbow a bit, glancing at his eyes. Glancing at his eyes, you can tell he's saying, don't be rude. No, not at all. I'm just the closest thing we have to the welcome committee. And it's always nice to see some new faces all the way out here. How long will you be staying? The saloon has some rooms if you'd like to stay the night. That's an awfully kind gesture, Sheriff, but we'll be gone before nightfall. At least that's the idea. Maybe we'll like this town so much we'd stay. Joseph and the sheriff both chuckle, and the sheriff sighs. Well, you boys let me know if you need anything else. I'll be at home most likely. Will do. Yep. With the tip of his hat, the sheriff turned and started walking back to the building at the end of the road. With the lizard out of earshot, Joseph turns to you. So, partner, what's our plan? You look around the town for a moment, surveying the handful of people walking about, talking to each other around their houses. Taking in the warm wind blowing past you with a deep breath. We get talking to folks. And what? They just run their mouth about all the gold they've found? No, but I reckon this town, this size, if they've struck something, there'll be a buzz about it. We ask them about themselves and about the town. Someone will spill sooner or later. Alright then. Well, got a pretty good peep at the place on the way down. Pretty good peep. Oh, like a look. Got it. We got a saloon just here. We got some sort of town hall over on the far side. And we got the sheriff's station at the end of the road by the looks. Where to? Let's go to the saloon. It's the first one on the list. Let's check out the saloon. I reckon if anyone knows anything about these rumors, it'll be in there. Alrighty then. I like how it's super yeehaw. Alrighty then. You're the yee to my ha. It's so yeehaw. It's so funny. They said, partner. Okay, I'm done. Walking through the doors of the saloon, you're hit with a very familiar smell of tobacco and alcohol hanging in the air. A couple of patrons drink and talk quietly in the corner, not taking any notice of you two. You see a dozen or so tables looking up, there's a second floor with the rooms the sheriff mentioned. Howdy there. Oh my god, fucking help. Your attention is grabbed by an excitable and friendly voice coming from a short bird standing behind the bar, who was now grabbing a couple of glasses. I love that name. It's so goofy. My name's Bartholomew. What can I get you fellas? Sorry, he's gonna have a high-pitched voice, that's life. He started wiping the glasses expectantly, glancing between the both of you as he walked a few steps from the door to stand at the bar. I'll get a beer. Alright. And you? I'll have what he's having. Yep, coming right up. He set the mugs down and disappeared through a door behind the bar into the back room. I don't have any money on me, Joseph. Don't worry about that, it's on me. He pats you on the back with a big wing a couple of times, but withdrew his hand when he saw you wince a little. Sorry. Was that too hard? No, you're fine. You hadn't winced from pain, you just weren't used to someone touching you. Like that at least. Friendly-like. Bartholomew reappeared with 2 glass bottles, tipping them into the mugs with a satisfying glug before taking a couple of coins from Joseph. Thank you kindly. You both take a sip. Joseph seems to enjoy it, but You find it a bit more bitter? You try not to pull a face. Not like it. You smile weakly. Not my thing. Noted. Noted is crazy. He's flirting! I'm like trying to ignore it, but I'm like, oh, stop. He winks at you and you feel your cheeks redden a little. You both keep drinking while the bartender busies himself behind the bar. The saloon is quiet. A piano sits gathering dust in the corner, seemingly untouched for many moons. Wind whistles through a gap in the saloon doors, carrying the sound of desert insects. Slow day, huh? You look up from your drink and see that he's looking at the bartender, who doesn't seem to have taken any notice. He glances at you both, and he realizes rather sheepishly that he was being talked to. Beg your pardon. Slow day? Nah, this is about the usual. Gets a lot more lively in the evenings when the sun goes down. Everyone comes here to take a load off. So you know everyone here pretty well, then? Well, of course. Not exactly a big town. We're a pretty tight-knit lot here. Why is that? This is a mining town, right? These places usually explode with people. Well, I can't say I know much. He looks oddly unsettled by your question. How long you lived here for? He perks up again from whatever you said that troubled him, the brightness returning to his voice. Oh, well, I'd say that's somewhere close to 8 years. Darn, that's a long time. Yeah, I suppose it is. What made you stay? Never mind. Oh, sorry. Never mind staying. How'd you even find this place? I've never heard of it until we stumbled past. Bartholomew's cheery smile dropped a little, morphing into something more wistful. Like the face of someone looking at an old, now bittersweet photograph. You boys ask a lot of questions, don't you? You and Joseph look at each other for a moment, expecting the other to say something, but nothing comes out. I don't mind. To give it a fair shake in this town ain't the most exciting. Huh? To give it a fair shake, this town ain't the most exciting. It's nice to talk to some new ears that ain't tired of my squawking already. He gives a little half-hearted chuckle. Hey, we got that up-close shot. Go crazy. Well, I found this place because I heard about there being gold. Like a lot of folks, I was fixing to get my fill. You and Joseph both lean in a little at the mention of gold. My fiancé was running away from home, and I was going with him. We thought we could go out west to make our fortune. Looking back on it, I get why so many people called us foolish. I might have been one of them if it weren't the other way around. But we had our hearts set on it. We followed the road by wagon, and it was damn tough, hellish even. Thank our lucky stars we made it here to Clemency. On a wing and a prayer. That was when we really felt like we were foolish. When we got here, talking about gold, we almost ran out of town. I don't know the details, but there was a lot of trouble here when the miners ran this place. No one's been digging for decades now, but word hadn't traveled far enough, it seems, to let us know at the time. At first, sheriffs told us to leave. Didn't want no more of our kind causing trouble. But when sheriff saw how stuck we were, how we had nowhere else to go, how rough the journey had been on us, sheriff's nothing if not kind, could see we weren't troublemakers, just wanted a better life somewhere. Hey, that's us. That's us. That's us and our future man. That's Huz. He shrugged like there was nothing more to it. With the town's help, we gussied up this here saloon into something I could run, and the rest is history. I'm glad y'all found something here. Yeah, I can say that for sure. Comanche may be small, but it's something real special if you ask me. So there's no gold here. Bartholomew leaned back against the shelves behind him, crossing his arms. You know, we could be a little more, what's the word? Subtle? We could be like, little more subtle. Just like a little bit more subtle. Little bit more subtle. A little bit. Not as far as I know. The mines are around here somewhere, but I've never seen them. This hasn't been a mining town for a long time, and folks here don't think of it as one. You'd do well to keep that in mind. He tapped the side of his beak as if to say, if you catch my drift. Even so, it would be interesting. Even so, would be interested in the history of the town. Afraid that well runs dry here, but there's others who have been here for longer than I have. You can always talk to the sheriff if you haven't yet. Sheriff made this place what it is today. Want to know something? That's the lizard to talk to. Thank you, Bartholomew. No problem. It's my pleasure. Bartholomew stood up from his lean and stretched his back and arms a little. Slinging his cloth over his shoulder, he picked up a small, clinking and rattling box before walking through the back room. Daylight's burning. I think it's best we get going. Agreed. You stood at the bar and waited a moment while Joseph downed his beer. And then yours too. Damn! Okay, he said. And I got you too, bitch. Hope you can hold that. Ah, please. How Lily must think of me. Only a couple beers. You should have seen me at the Long Branch in Dodge. Drank the entire gang under the table. He can't help but smile at his cockiness, unsure whether to believe him. You briefly think back on the times the gangs had gone to the bars. You're always told to stay outside. Don't wander off. A dog on a leash waiting for his master to come back. Staring into lamplit streets and hearing the braying crowds all around you, drunken strangers enjoying each other's company as much as their liquor. At first they told you it was dangerous for you to stray too far. Then they started telling you to stay outside after you'd beaten the teeth out of a guy in an alley who you knew had been staring at you. Couldn't have you causing them needless trouble. Off so soon? Bartholomew re-emerged into the bar, looking expectantly. Well, don't be a stranger, strangers. You're welcome to come back later when the bar's more lively. My husband would love to meet you both. The casual lilt of his words caught you off guard, and you think you see Joseph stumble a little. Failing to get any words out, he just tips his hat and you both leave the saloon, stepping back into the dusty and dry desert heat. More gay people! Hell yeah! Where to? Town Hall. There might be a meeting we can drop in on. At the town hall. Seems worth a look. Sounds good to me. Wouldn't mind sitting down a spell neither. Did bro walk here? Oh, he probably flew actually. I was like, did he walk here? Like he's not a bird. I said, how'd he get here? What vehicle did he use? His wings. You both start walking to the outskirts of the town, weaving between the clumps of houses and down the dirt banks. You keep walking on a flat stretch, smooth and compacted from the frequent travels of people. Some townfolk on their porches wave at you or give a little afternoon as you pass on by. Is it just me or does it feel like everyone here is nicer than most? Well, maybe, but I ain't complaining. He gives an enthusiastic wave to a small kid shyly hanging around the outside of their house under the shade. I could get used to folk being nice to me. They're not usually? I mean, I don't stray too far from the gang a lot of the time. Maybe this is normal. Yeah, I suppose I wouldn't know either. You arrive at a large wooden building you'd been heading towards, noting how similar to the chapel it looked. Joseph walks up the small steps and opens the door with a rattle, holding it open for you. Thank you kindly. He follows you into the short, darkened hallway, closing the door behind him with another wooden rattle. The meeting hall is fairly large and simple and bright. The wood walls are varnished and gleaming from the ample sunlight filtering through the arched windows. Rows of benches line the aisle, half facing away, half facing towards you on the other side. What? Sitting on a nearby bench turned away from you is a hunched figure in black. Hearing you come in, the figure jumps to life, rising from the seat. They turn to you both, revealing themselves to be an elderly tortoise, holding a small book in one hand. Ah, do my eyes deceive me, or do I see new visitors in our town? He walks with the characteristic slowness of someone his age, and nature down the aisle towards you both, but with a sprightly? I don't know what that means. Spring to his step. He tucks the book under one of his arms and extends both his hands to shake hands with Joseph, and then you. Welcome to Clancy. And to our meeting hall, I am Jacob. What might your names be? I'm Joseph, and this here's my associate, Kay. Pleasure to meet you. I assure you the pleasure is all mine. It has been a good while since we've had fresh faces around here. Now you'll have to excuse me, but I have some business to attend to quickly. Feel free to sit and pray until I return if you so wish. Before you can ask any more questions, he shuffles between you both and out the door. You and Joseph look at each other quizzically. Quizzically? Yeah. Sitting down on the nearest bench together. What did he say? Sit here and pray? That's what I heard too. Is this a meeting hall for prayer? The meeting house of God? Don't get it. I need to stop reading it as like ah and reading it as I, because that's what it is. He can't help but smile at his musing as he looks around the room, looking into the rafters of the ceiling before turning back to you. You lock eyes with him, staring into the honey gold and brown streaked rings of his keen gaze. You're gay. You're a boy kisser. He smiles at you coyly and looks away, readjusting in his seat. You realize you were holding your breath. You sit up on the bench more too. The hard wood at your back reminds you of your church days. All the fuss and protest against your mother about your Sunday best. You don't miss the frills and the laces and all that. You do miss the singing hymns with her. She had a beautiful voice. I don't remember the last time I prayed. Don't cross my mind very much. Can't say you're missing anything. All the good it'd do you. Not a believer? I don't want to blasphemy, but God's done a whole lot of jack squat to help me all my life. Don't really feel like praying to someone who doesn't care about me, or anyone like me for that matter. Which is why I wouldn't have pegged you for a devout man. Joseph laughed a bit, almost mocking the idea. Oh no, I don't think anyone could accuse me of that, not with some of the things I've done. But I still pray. Only the Lord knows if he's listening, but it helps remind me of what's important to me. A lot of the time I just pray for family and hope they're doing fine. I hope they are too. There was a momentary silence between you, like a subtle shift of coals in the long-burning fire, now snuffed by the door rattling open again. You look behind you, and sure enough, it was Jacob shuffling in. He grabbed a broom and briefly swept some of the dust he'd tracked in back outside before closing the door with another rattle. Forgive me for the delay. Ugh. I hope I haven't kept you two from your business. Don't worry yourself. We're doing just fine. He leaned in and nudged you playfully. Good. Now how may I help you, gentlemen? The word catches you a little off guard. The way it trips off his tongue so easily. No bitterness or mockery. Joseph seems to stall for a moment before a wry smile returns to his face. He adjusted in his seat to turn to Jacob, who had now taken a seat facing you on the other side of on another bench. Well, we're just passing through, but I'm curious. You mentioned something about prayer? Well, yes, of course. You may forgive me. I'm clearly far too used to the usuals of the town. His slow drawl of words is comforting, like being told a long-worn story by a grandparent. This is a meeting hall for friends, Quakers, and if you will. And if you will. Oh, not and if you will, just if you will. We're a largely Quaker community here in Clemency. Quakers. Oh yeah, there's a lot of you folks over in Pennsylvania and the likes, ain't there? Yes, indeed, that's true. In fact, that's where I hail from. But I must admit, it has been a long time since I've last visited. Sorry, gotta say I'm at sea here. I've never even heard of Quakers. I can't say I'm much more enlightened of them myself, but I don't know nothing about them. You both turned to Jacob expectantly. Well, what's the simplest way I can explain our beliefs? He fell into a deep thought for a few moments, eyes staring into the middle of the distance before coming back to life. We believe that there is a God in everyone, that we all have an inner light that guides us. We don't perform sermons or sing hymns, instead we pray in silence together. There are no guidelines as to what you should do, other than try to connect and listen to the light within yourself. We also very strongly believe in pacifism, and do what we can to promote peace, denouncing all forms of violence and the degradation of our fellows who walk the earth with us. It's important to respect the light of God with everyone. That's certainly how I see it. That sounds nice, but, well, things don't often work out that way in my experience. Jacob smiles wisely, likely having heard the same sentiment many times before. Yes, there's certainly some that adhere to it more than others in town here, but it's always an important tenet of our community. So everyone in this town are Quakers? Well, yes and no. Many of us are, but some of us more so just adhere to the same principles and ideals of nonviolence and so forth. Quakerism isn't enforced, but it bonds this community. Huh, interesting. What about the old sheriff? What about sheriff? With the pacifism and whatnot, doesn't seem like it'd be easy. Ah, well, yes, I can see how you might suppose that. Sheriff cares about keeping the peace, but it isn't solely responsible for it. We all are. It's what made this little town so easy to keep going. Me and Sheriff see eye to eye on so many things. So, you and the sheriff have been here a while then? Did you find the place or something? Found. Like, not find it like find it, found it like make it. Me and my difficulty in finding the right word in my mind that it means is crazy. You'd have believed it by the tortoise's age. He could definitely be as old as this town. No, you flatter me, for I'm not quite that pioneering, but I'd indeed have been here for a long time. If you'd indulge me, I could tell you a little of my story. Please do. Look at his little hat. Little hat. Jacob nodded again, drifting into thought for a moment, before coming back with his words. Oh, flashback. His shell's so spiky. As I said, I'm from Pennsylvania. During the height of the gold rush, with so many heading west, many Quakers thought it would be a benefit to follow. I was much younger then, much more eager to get on the trail and spread the ideals of the Friends. Although I can't say my love of blabbing has much waned. He gave a charming and hoarse little laugh at his own jibe. The trail was very hard, but I learned much from others in the caravans and the towns and the cities on the way. So much light and life. I arrived in this here town maybe more chipper than I had left, but it was not to be. His expression softened, drawing into himself emotion failing to find its way onto his face. I loathe to speak ill of my fellow man, but when I arrived at this place, it was godless. The miners had little care for each other. Be it out of greed or desperation, they were consumed by their need for gold, even those who had their fill. The whole town was tense and unpredictable. Arguments, even violence, would erupt whenever something valuable turned up. A new vein, a gold in the river. They'd do whatever they had to do to get what they wanted. The night that I arrived, they told me the so-called savages that used to reside there. Very little makes my blood boil, I'll tell you boys what. But the way the miners talked about those Indians, the native people, Native Americans, how happily they told me stories about the ways they drove them out. Unspeakable things I dared not and would not want to repeat to anyone. I tried explaining the Friends way, and how even, I don't want to say that, how even the natives had the light of God in them. How we were equally important in the presence of God's light. That the people we share this earth with are not the enemy. They had no care for my explanations. They had no care for the needs and lives of others than themselves. It made me wonder how Quakers' past had convinced people of the evils of slavery and the importance of peace. Building bonds instead of destroying one another. I lost hope. I thought maybe things had changed so much. Perhaps this was the people's limit. Tolerance of those who could get in their way was no longer an option. Or perhaps I was just a failure, unable to convince a single soul of giving a damn. R.I.P. to old man. The old tortoise looked forlorn, brow furrowed like he was reliving these moments so vividly that these were the same faces he wore. Then along came Sheriff. Oh, Sheriff. I was a little worried when the sheriff first was assigned to the town. That I'd just have another person to fight with, someone with authority on the side of the miners. Instead, I found a kindred spirit, someone who actually listened to me and agreed with me on many things. Very quickly, we became firm friends. Eventually, Sheriff got sick of the miners, decided enough was enough, and shut down the town. Forced the miners to move somewhere else. The entire time he'd been talking about the sheriff, his face was lively and lit up, his hands moving with his words. It was a lot like how your pastor used to give the sermons. Surely there was a nice resident to that whole mining town. Surely there was a resistance to the whole mining town being packed up like that. Of course. But Sheriff did what was right, and that's the way the sheriff's soul said. I'd felt buried by the weight of the town's hate. Their convictions like stone walls I could not scale. I'll be grateful to God until the day I die that the sheriff came here. I was given so much hope when I'd lost it all. And you've been here ever since? Jacob chuckled. Yes, we have. Only a handful of us stayed after the miners left, and it was hard to know whether this town would still stand. But we felt sure that we could find more people who cared, as long as we worked together. More people like us. His words hung in the air, settled around you and Joseph as Jacob settled his eyes on you both. So those mines are still around? A lot of mining towns died down because of the gold drying up, but if the miners just left, I guess there's still some there? Well, yes, I suppose so. I can't say I've thought much about it in recent years. We don't encourage those to go looking for gold, I'm sure you understand. It's nothing but trouble. His warm gaze turned somewhat steely. You weren't sure how long it might go for if Joseph didn't pipe up. Course, Jacob. We're just curious a bunch. Thanks for talking to us strangers for so long. His stern eyes disappeared in an instant, and he humbly waved away Joseph's thanks. No, the pleasure's all mine. It's been good to talk to new ears. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must get this place tidied up before today's meeting. Quakers meeting? Yes, indeed. You're both welcome to join us if you'd like. Thank you, Jacob, but I'm thinking we'll head off. Anyhow. You all stand, stretching and shaking off the stiffness from the wings, tails, and legs. Go well and keep that light close to you. You both nod and leave through the same rattling doors before, catching one last glance at Jacob staring at his chores before you close it. Little town! Joseph stands with you for a moment in the porch of the meeting hall, looking off into the town. What are you thinking? Well, we know now that these folks ain't gonna put up much of a fight. Maybe some of them, but... And there's definitely gold here, somewhere. Joseph had no real emotions playing across his face, but he was standing much more still than you had seen him before, like he was trying not to breathe. Come on, we've got more people to talk to. He exhaled sharply, the feathers on his beak next to his nose holes fluttering. Yeah. You walked past the houses and people before, but didn't feel like waving back. The dry desert air is warm on your lungs. Blazing afternoon sun bakes through the ground beneath you as you walk near the edge of the town again. Your throat feels tight, feet sore. There's a gentle pounding of blood in your head, accompanied by a familiar piercing ache. Everything seems hazier than it usually is. Thoughts are swimming. You're fine. Just keep walking. You almost bump into Joseph as he stops short, looking around again, searching for anything you might have missed. You look as well, but the sun seems too bright somehow. You look down at your feet to shield your eyes, staring at the tiny dunes of your footprints in the dust. Alright, so where to now? I think there's only one place left of interest. You heard what he said, but it didn't quite stick with you. Yeah, sure. Should we get going there then? Again, hearing, but nothing stays. Your thoughts feel like just caught fish wriggling from your hand. Yeah, Alright, let's go then. Yeah, let's keep moving. Joseph starts walking away, and you follow. You try to follow. Your feet move, but they don't land where you want. You stumble a little. Joseph looks around at you as you stand there, staring at your feet again. Hey, what's the matter, partner? Huh? I feel a little dizzy. You doing all right? Didn't say anything. He places his hand on your shoulders and twists you around to face him, looking down into your face. Yeah, you're looking a little sick there. Let's go sit down a spell. Oh my god, the disease! The disease in my real life is putting into the game. I don't feel dizzy, but... The disease! He starts walking with a hand on your shoulder, guiding you over to a ledge with a shallow drop. You can both sit and hang your legs over. Jesus. Fucking crazy. Ah, help! Ugh. You felt better sitting down, more stable. You hear the rustle of Joseph unclipping something from the back of his belt, seeing him pull around a canteen between the two of you. When's the last time you had your hand on a real drink? It must be mighty thirsty if you're feeling that dizzy. Of course, how could you have forgotten? You've been riding and walking all day, but hadn't had a drop of anything since you set out. Although you weren't sure what Joseph had brought with him. What's that look for? You think I got liquor in here? He chuckled a little and unscrewed the cap, letting you smell it for a moment before taking a long gulp. Just water, see? Get it down before you'll collapse on me or something. You sheepishly took the canteen from him and gave it a little wave in his direction as a cheers. You tilt it to your dry mouth and take deep gulps for a few seconds, licking the water hanging on the edge of your lips after. Bit warm for my liking. Can't beat cold water from a clean stream, but better than drying out like your mom was washing. I've never said shit with this yeehaw in my life. It's very funny. You take another swig before handing it back to him. Thank you. Don't worry about it. Just pipe up next time. Almost hit the dirt because you didn't say anything. Sorry, it was just... We have a job here and didn't think I could waste time. Pshaw, can't even make time to sit down and drink? You're unlike most I met. Who put a snake in your boots anyway? You gotta slow down a little. Maybe. I mean, what do you do to relax when you're off the job? Relax? Yeah, relax, unwind, take a load off. I know what you mean. The question just caught you off guard a little. You weren't sure how to answer. You'd never given it much thought. What do you do to relax? The gang is always busy with something. Traveling, hiding out, making trouble. Not a lot of time to not do anything. I guess I play cards sometimes. Mostly just solitaire. Respectable. You win much? No. Ain't about winning anyway. Just helps to pass the time. Yeah, I know what you mean. Me and the boys usually play some rounds of cards, sometimes betting. Although, some of them are real sore losers. Sometimes it's just easier to let them win and avoid the issue. I beat one of them at poker 5 times in a row, and I swear, the rest of the week he was giving me the eyes. Found my hat full of knife holes one morning, too. But I think it was just to scare me. At least I hope it was. He gave a loud guffaw. The real and unrestrained kind that made you doubt a second if the canteen was really just water. He had a nice laugh, he thought. Someone actually enjoying themselves. Maybe it was just nice to hear a laugh that wasn't done at you. You a gambling man? A flutter in your chest and at the end of your ribs. Nah, really? Never had much to gamble with in the first place. Always seemed like a waste. I can respect that restraint. Don't always have to be about money, mind you. When I was younger, me and my papa used to... He stopped for a moment, thinking and scratching his neck, his train of thought slowed by some forgotten memory. We used to play cards after dinner, and a lot of days when I came home, I'd bring pebbles from the river. I always used to like how smooth and pretty they looked. All sorts of colors and shapes, all of them different. We kept them out on the mantelpiece, and when we played cards, we'd bet with them. He always won, but it was too much fun for me to ever be mad. I think he did let me win, though, when I was betting big and was going to lose one of the rocks I really liked. He always knew which ones were my favorite, and he never wanted to see me cry. Can't think of any other reason he would have lost to me. Suppose I ought to thank him for teaching me. You weren't sure what to say, so you just gave him a soft smile. Family can be so complicated. He didn't want to say the wrong thing. Oh, you know what? He dug into a pocket and produced a tattered-looking packet in his hand that you recognized to be playing cards. How about some Vin et une? Oh, it's French. 20 and 1. Why'd I read it like that? I said Vin et une. Yeah, it's French. 20 and 1. Stupid. You played that before? And we can bet with, he twisted around himself looking for anything you could use as a stand-in betting chip. He saw his eyes settle on a small pile of rocks for a moment, but instead noticed a stray feather, barely holding onto the back of his hand. He plucked it and placed it between the both of you, twisting how he sat to face you better. We can bet on this feather. We'll do a first to 5. You get it if you win. I keep it if I win. You swiveled yourself around to sit cross-legged and face him. Didn't know you were so desperate to gamble you'd use your own body. Hardy har, just thought it'd be more interesting than rocks. Oh, well, I thought you were a rock lover, Mr. Rock Collector. Take them on the open road, your own little rock circus. A regular Barnum. Joseph couldn't help but smile, even through his fake pouting at your teasing. I don't know if J.H. Barnum has quite the same ring to it, frankly. J.H.? Yes, and Joseph Harrier, my initials. Oh, of course. So, do you know how to play Finet? No. No. Alright, rules are simple. I'm the dealer. I deal you 2 cards face up, and I deal myself 1 face up and 1 face down. Idea is to get as high a number from your cards as you can without going over 21. I do know this game, but I didn't think that's what it was called. I thought it was called something else. What is it, like blackjack? Dude, I don't fucking know. Imagine that I don't play cards or gamble. I literally don't know anything. The closest thing I ever got to gambling was playing a gacha game. Literally Love in Deep Space. This is as close to gambling as I've ever gotten. And I didn't buy a thing. If you go over 21, it's a bust. Same goes for me. But you don't need to get a higher number than me to win. A draw is called a push. You can hit to get another card or stand to stick with what you have. You can hit as many times as you like as long as you're under 21. After you stand, I flip over my face down card and have to hit as long as the number is under 17. If I go bust or my number is lower than yours, you win. If you get 21 exactly, then you don't hit or stand, and I can get a push in that case if it's also 21. Cards are worth what the number says. Face cards like King, Queen, Jack are 10. Where things can get a little confounding is that the ace is worth either 1 or 11. Ace is worth 11 in the hand unless it would be a bust, in which it would just be a 1. Ace can still be an 11 if it would let you win. Get a little muddled during games sometimes, but I ain't trying to cheat you, so don't worry about it too much. Right, let's play. Like I said, first to 5 wins. Oh, good luck. Okay, so I have 10. So I either have 19 or I have 10. Stand. Deals hand is the Queen of Hearts and a 6. Oh! 26. Oh! I win! Get fucked! You got a 4 clubs. So, I'm trying to get to 21. Hit. 18. Stand. 3 of clubs. 13. 20. Fuck! You bitch! Yeah, you know what? I remember this from, what's it called? I remember this from... What's that game? Bro, my head's empty as fuck right now. What is that game called? Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, so we have 8 and 6. Hit. 15. Hit. 18. Yeah, we're gonna stand. Damn it! 12. Hit. Hit. We win! Let's go! So we have 10 and 6, 16. And 9. Hit. 23. Fuck! Damn it! 6. Hit. 16. Hit. 25. Damn it! How many rounds are we doing? 18. Stand. 12. 20. Damn it! Why he better at this than me? Fuck! Sorry, Bucko. House always wins, huh? Well, it's still a game of luck, and at the end of the day, well played, sir. He picked up the feather, but to your surprise, he held it out to you. Here, take it. But you won. I don't have much use for a stray feather, do I? Got plenty of them anyway. You keep it. You took the feather in your hand, twisting the smooth quill back and forth a couple of times between your thumb and your finger. God damn, pronunciation is dog shit today, bruh. It was thin and tapered, and the color of coffee. Thick and uneven stripes of cream white ran all along it from the middle. Thank you, Joseph. Don't mention it. You pocketed the feather carefully. We should probably, get back to it. As long as you're happy to, and can stand steady, then I'm ready to. You swung yourself onto your knees, and stood up with a sprightly jump. All ready. Let's get a wiggle on. Yes, sir. Sheriff should know something, surely. Yes, sir. I doubt we're the only ones who would have come looky-looing before. And Sheriff did say to come find him if we ever need anything. I don't think he meant stealing the town's gold, but sure. You walked the same direction as you saw the sheriff leave, down towards the closest edge of the town, through what might be considered the main street if this town were bigger. Sheriff's office is modest, one of the smaller buildings in town. A short, square stone block with barred windows and a lopsided wooden door. It's really that I notice sometimes that I don't pronounce the T's on things. The sheriff's office is immodest. I didn't say any of those sounds. I skipped F and I skipped T and I said, oh. So I can't read, so I'm blind. As you get close to the squat building, Joseph slows down and raises an arm to your chest to slow you as well. Okay, partner, what's the plan here? You and I both know the sheriff is going to be the most paranoid, owl-headed son of a gun of this burg. We can't go in waltzing in there and shooting our mouths off just to say about anything. Yeah, you're right. All we really need to know is if the sheriff's going to put up a fight. Somehow I feel like they're not your usual lawman. You look around thinking for a bit. Two halves of a tattered sign swing in the wind on chattering chains in front of the building. It seems it had said sheriff once, and the edge of it had remnants of bullet holes scattered in charred wood. I say we tell him what's really happening. To call Joseph's face incredulous at that moment would have been an understatement. He scoffed a little out of curiosity, rubbing his chin with a feathered hand and trying to think of what you could mean. What you're saying? We admit why we're here, acknowledge the corn? Sort of. I think we can tell the sheriff that there's outlaws coming and we're worried, about the town. That's a dangerous play. Look, sheriff's gonna have a good idea why we're snooping around if we don't have a simple, honest reason to throw off the scent. It's easier to lie when there's some truth to it. Joseph rubbed his chin again and sighed. See, but then the big question becomes, how did you figure out that the outlaws are coming for the town? You know what I mean? Then it's like, who are you to know that thing about both of those gangs? Especially since they're pretty big gangs, they're not small ones. I think so too, but I still can't help but feel jumpy walking into the lion's den. You knew what he meant. For people like you, a sheriff's office was never where you wanted to wind up. Walking into the office together, Joseph ducks to clear the doorway. You find the inside to be much more well kept than the outside, which clearly had seen some wear and tear in its time. Sunlight and dust in equal measures came in through the windows, landing upon the desk of the sheriff, who was currently rapidly filling a piece of paper with pencil in hand. After you close the door behind you, you both wait for a few seconds for the sheriff to notice you. Before you can politely knock on the closed door for attention, Sheriff raises a finger on the pencil, holding a hand to ask for a moment more waiting. This was followed by a hasty scribbling onto the end of the piece of paper, before the pencil was thrown onto the desk with little regard. Two keen eyes landed on you and Joseph. Howdy there, fellas. Thought I might be seeing you again. Howdy again, Sheriff. Now, what can I be helping you both with today? Well, Joseph turned to you, locking eyes. You saw the slight, wild panic of someone caught in a trap looking for a way out. Do you protect this town? Sheriff looked miffed, unsure of how to respond, like someone had just asked if the sky was blue. As much as anyone else who lives here, yes. What does that mean? I thought you were a lawman. Sheriff regarded you with some annoyance, still seemingly puzzled over what you were asking. I think I see the confusion here. I'm not a lawman. In fact, I'd say I'm not a man at all, or a woman. Sheriff kept looking at you both, trying to gauge your reactions, whether you could be trusted, you guessed. My name is Sheriff. That is the moniker I've chosen, and I'd ask you kindly to refer to me as so or not at all. Joseph tipped his hat politely. Not a problem, Sheriff. Do you run this town, then? That would also be a no. I'm a founder, you might say, but I don't solely run the town. You boys are asking some real strange questions. Is there something I ought to know? I would be confused about someone named Sheriff living in the sheriff's office, but not being the sheriff. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm dying. Also, someone being the founder of the town, but not being like the mayor or something. I mean, the town seems like it's got like 4 people in it right now, so. Joseph had faltered, and now you did too. This isn't what you had just planned. You were just saying the first things that came to mind, fixing on Sheriff with a calm pair of eyes, but a shakiness in the knees. Maybe you'd hoped Sheriff would say something that would change things. Change what you were both there for. Before you could fall over. Joseph placed a hand on your shoulder, and you tensed before he gave it a light squeeze, stepping in. We heard from some other fellows on the trail that there were outlaws coming this way even. I see. Well, you boys shouldn't worry. We know how to care for ourselves in Clemency. We don't get trouble around here often, but we make sure to run them out of here before anything starts. So you've been here a while then? Yeah, ages. How'd you end up living here anyhow? What's the story? You said you're some kind of founder? Don't get it twisted now. I'm not really the founder. It's hard to explain. I used to be a marshal. Got sent here 30 years ago already? And you liked it so much that you stayed. Joseph gives a little bellow of a laugh, but the sheriff's much more half-hearted. No, well, I wish I could say things back then were as good as they are now. Sheriff stood up, grabbing the cane by the desk that thumped softly as the sheriff started pacing a little through the small office, stretching stiff legs. "You boys know this used to be a mining town, right?" "Of course." "Well, I used to be the lawman of this mining town. Greenhorn out on their first assignment, trying to keep the peace here." What a joke. The miners had it out for each other. There was nothing but bad blood and gold fever. I learned all too well during that time what it looked like, gold fever in the eyes, and what people will do to satisfy it. That town was a constant powder keg, and I was only one marshal. Felt like there was nothing I could do. I felt like I needed to do more. I needed something to calm the place. I asked the marshals who had sent me, and they don't give a hoot. If anything, they tell me to keep my hands off and let them figure it out themselves. Shoot them if they don't step too far out of line. That never sat right with me. If there's something you should know about me and how I conduct my business and take care of this town, it's that I care about justice. Real justice. Not that justice others suck up to, claim to care about. I learned very quickly that the law is not about real justice. The sheriff punctuated those words, said with such fire, with bangs of the cane on the floor. The law of the marshal is not the justice I recognize. It's why I took on the name sheriff. I wanted the name for myself. They didn't deserve it. Strange, I know. Thank the Lord, much good he's done me, that I met at least one like-minded in that town. Hey, got that up-close look with that floating hat. Ooh, jump scare. Sometime in the winter, we had a caravan arrive in town. People had been traveling long across the trail and needed somewhere to stay for a spell. Had some to sell as well, furs and such, anything to help get by. Friendly folks, I enjoyed their company. Spent a night drinking with them around their wagons. The miners didn't take kindly to them, didn't trust them. That was the week I'll never forget. Constant accusations of stealing and flare-ups, shouting matches almost ending in drawn irons. The miners were so darn jumpy and owl-headed about the slightest things. 3 days later, a miner turns up dead, stabbed in his sleep. The miners all accused one of the traders of doing it, a Mexican fella. Claimed it was his knife that did the deed. I had to arrest him. Held him in his cell here. A tap of somewhat rusted metal bars with a cane rang out of the room. The traders all came to tell me that I was wrong, and that he'd never do something of the sort. They helped push me in the right direction. I'd already had some suspicion about the miners' claims. A lot of accusations have been flying around about the Mexicans and Indians traveling in the caravans. I did a little investigating and found that the miner had been killed by one of his friends. Another feud about gold, some stolen or missing, and his so-called friend had killed him for it. The miners wouldn't believe it, insisted the man in the cell was guilty. I wonder if maybe they just couldn't see what I could. See things through my eyes. It felt like a mockery of justice, of everything I cared about. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Early the next morning, I asked the traders to leave and to take their friend with them. Sheriff notices how intently you're both listening, watery eyes flickering between the both of you. Anyway, that's a lot of blabbering from me already. Long story short, I kicked the miners out before the better. You make it sound like it was real easy. How'd you get that many miners to just abandon gold? I did what I had to. I have no regrets or weight on my soul for it. Really getting them out, that was the easiest part, I suppose. We moved and rebuilt some of the town further from the mines. We all wanted a fresh start. The years since have been hard, very hard. I don't have this stick because I've been sitting on my jollies and gazing at sunsets. This town may be small, but it's a lot of work to keep going. Sheriff turned and went to sit at the desk again, the chair creaking beneath his old bones. Don't take my griping to start thinking I'm not thankful for this place, though. I've done a lot for it, but it's done just as much, more even, in return. How do you mean? I can't say I've ever really had somewhere I live do much for me. You haven't really lived anywhere that's been kind to you, I fear. The sheriff sighed softly, looking out the windows into the town, a clear view of cobbled-together houses cascading down the shallow hillside. Clemency has given me somewhere to live. I'd had many hopes when I chose to stay in this town, try to make something of it. I've worked hard to earn the respect of those who lived here. As a person, not as an authority. People here don't see me as an oddity. They don't fear me, they don't mock or interrogate others for how they live. This ain't just a community, it's a family. Sorry, I'm dying. Jesus Christ. We're all far from our homes, from the people who made us, but here we can make ourselves what we want to be. A town of runaways who don't gotta keep running anymore. The sheriff stared out the window for a few moments more. The sun was bright, the golden shine crossing wistful eyes. Turning back to you, the sheriff pulled back into his desk and got comfortable once more. Anyway, that's enough sap from me. Those outlaws all you wanted to talk about? Yeah, I think so. You wished you had more questions to ask, more to say, more to hear about, but no other words escaped your maw except for, thank you. Don't mention it, and thank you too for the tip-off. I'll keep these old peepers peeled. Yeah, and thank you for talking, Sheriff. We'll be on our way now, but I did have one more question for you. You still with those marshals? In contact with them? I quit the day I rebelled against those miners. Never heard from him ever again. Joseph nodded, tipping his hat, and the sheriff tipping in return. He stepped out of the station and into the blinding sun together. Welcome to the town of the gays. That's what it's giving. The LGBTQIA community. Hey! Walking back to the edge of town on the other side from the sign you now knew read Clemency. You both sit on the edge of the little hillside slope, kicking dust up on yourselves as you settle on the rocky crevices. I think that's all the useful places of interest here, unless we want to go knocking on folks' doors asking for gold. I think we've disturbed this lot enough for a day. Your resting hand becomes restless as it brushes against some of the dry desert grass, entwining it between your fingers, slowly pulling it from its roots. So, what did we actually figure out? Everyone here is kind and mostly defenseless. I think it's pacifists is the word. You tuck more grass up into your hands. They can maybe fight off some bandits, but no officer is going to come to help, and they ain't going to do much good against a whole gang. And there is gold here, somewhere, in some forgotten mines no one has seen for decades. Well, it's got to be around here. This is a mining town, for Pete's sake. How far could it be? You shrug. The sheriff said the town was moved. The mines could be anywhere now. Maybe it really was just rumors. Maybe there really was nothing to find here. I think you know as well as I do that these folks were antsy. Friendly as well, but gold gets their hackles up. Someone has to know where the mines are. You knew he was right. You knew how to read people well enough. Joseph stood up, gazing out across the landscape of the town and beyond, searching towards the horizon. Gonna use those special eyes of yours, bird brain? More use than you chasing your tail, Mutt. Mutt's crazy. He looked at you for a moment with a smirk, and you smirked back. You rolled the grass in your hand between your fingers, squashing the reeds of it together, dropping the seeds in the sand. I can't see nothing. Goddamn sun in my eyes ain't helping neither. I don't know if Bartholomew would help out. He was maybe the most friendly one of the bunch. Sheriff didn't even talk about the gold. Because the sheriff knows how to keep the town safe. You look up at Joseph, his puzzled face squinting in the sun, down at you. Looking back out into the desert, the sun sits between the rocky outcroppings in the distance, a light bulb plucked from the sky by unmoving fingers. It'll start getting dark soon. Sheriff knows where the miners are. Bartholomew said he never saw him, and Jacob was never a miner. He had no reason to go to the mines. What, so he never saw him? That don't make no sense. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that even if he did see him back then, he wouldn't remember where they were now. Sheriff still knows where they are, but because they're the biggest danger to the town, I'd wager Sheriff even checks up on him every so often just to make sure it's undisturbed. Huh. I guess that checks out. We don't even have time for a stakeout, though. You balled your hands into a fist, the grass yielding and turning to dust. We didn't need to know where they are anyway. We got all we need, knowing that there were mines, and where the mines are would just be a penny in the hat. We should think about our next move. You ignored the tiny knot in your stomach as you thought about what to do next. You should just leave, but there's nothing else to do here. We should just think about resting. It's getting dark soon. I think I could stay at the saloon. The sheriff did offer. You sure you want to stay here for a night? Seems like the least we can do before we leave. Unless camping outside does some mighty appeal to you. Joseph flashes a wry smile. Alright, let's go have a look first. No point in bringing the horses down if we can't afford the rooms. Standing up on your feet, you feel dust fly between your fingers, with the winds blowing east, and follow Joseph a few paces behind. Okay. I'm probably gonna save it here. Fire. My throat is not agreeing with me. Oh. Anyways, my throat is not agreeing with me. And telling me that I'm a loser. So we're going to stop here for today. It's really cute. I like the vibes. It's giving old-timey gay, which I like. So I hope you're having so much fun. Maybe as much fun as I'm having, maybe more. And I will see you guys next time.